Welcome back to Connections Live. Jeff is a very curious guy with a passion for retro video games that is intrigued by mechanics and engineering.
That's right, Daniel. He uses his handy skills to repair gaming systems in his free time, and he's very good at what he does.
Yes, he is. Let's take a closer look at Jeff and his interesting yet helpful hobby.
Games, I was probably maybe a freshman in high school. Before that, I was mostly just tinkering around with stereo systems and the guitar and amplifiers. The person I looked up to the most in terms of their electrical ability would be my father was always working on the electronics on our boat, fixing the VCR and stuff, and I was always amazed at how it appears so complicated, but he made it look like it was a simple fix, and I wanted to get myself to the point where I was able to do that stuff. I used to fiddle around a lot with stereo systems and fix them and rebuild the old stuff we had in the basement. And later I got into playing the electric guitar, so I think I was more fascinated in the mechanical, the engineering part of the guitar than the actual instrument. And naturally that kind of progressed into me becoming more confident in my electrical abilities, and when my systems would stop working, instead of taking them into the shop, I would simply take them apart and figure out what was wrong with them and replace that part or put them back together. I think the way I got into the old school systems was when all of my friends were getting Mario and the Super Nintendo, and I said, "Dad, I want a game system." He said, "Well, you already have one," and he handed me his old 1980 Commodore, which was a very old system, and my friends thought it was very funny that I had this old piece of junk that was still fun to play. And I think just learning to use that and make that operate set me on my way. And then in high school, when that stopped working and I still wanted to play it, there's no one around who could fix that, so I was on my own to figure out how to repair it. A lot of it was trial and error, the way I learned to put systems together, but the other parts, the more complex stuff, I figured out through just Googling what the schematics were. I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a hobby, it's more of a habit. I don't go out of my way to do it, but when something breaks or if someone needs me to fix something, I'm always able to fix it. I started off actually fixing an original Nintendo. That was back in high school. I had a very old computer that my dad had an old computer called the Commodore 64. It was really better for games than an actual computer, and it was very simple, ran an 8-bit processor, which is the same as the old Nintendo. So when that stopped working, I took it apart, went online and saw what common problems were, and I used the instructions I found on the internet to repair that. I have the original Atari Pong, which is one of my favorites, but I'm currently in the middle of fixing that. And then the newest system I own, I think, is the PlayStation 2. I don't really have anything after that. Sophomore year of college, I was here in Muncie, and I picked up my Sega Genesis for like 25 bucks, and it was in terrible shape. And I had been really excited to play my old Sonic games, and here I finally have a Sega Genesis, but it won't work. So I took the top off, went through it, touched it up with a little bit of solder, still wasn't working. And I went online and I looked up common things that went wrong. And I went down to Radio Shack and I spent about $1.13 on a replacement capacitor and stuck that in there, and 15 minutes later I'm finally playing Sonic again.
It must have been a great feeling.
Oh, it was wonderful. Not everyone knows that I do this, but the people who are aware will often turn to me to fix controllers or game systems or even just other electrical items. They'll turn to the other for advice or help. Keep on gaming.
Well, it looks like I'm going to Jeff to get my broken Atari fixed.
Wait, you have an Atari?
I do. My brother gave it to me, and I've been trying to get it fixed for a long time.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, you definitely need to get that fixed. I mean, you can't be. I mean, you got to be one of just a couple people that actually have an Atari these days.
I know. That's true. I guess that makes me one of the rare few. And if you're like me and you'd like to contact Jeff to repair an older gaming system, you can reach him by phone at 414-469-8948.
Next up, we take a look at a square dancing gathering right here in Muncie, Indiana.
Don Royal is a Muncie native that hosts and calls out square dances once a month at Forest Park Elementary School. He calls these festive gatherings Royal Squares, and he gets a good turnout from the community.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Let's see what Royal Squares has to offer.
Swing a new girl in promenade. I'm gonna love you forever and ever, forever and ever, amen.
Yeah, this is Royal Squares. We started this up, we needed advertising, and the only way to advertise was really just to have a name, something to be able to throw out there. So there are several clubs, like was here tonight at our dance. We have Grand Spinners, Madison County Promenaders, Footloose, along with several others. We got a new one starting up. It's going to be called Rectangles. So we're really looking forward to it. I do this once a month, second Wednesday of every month. Square dancing is done all over the world, you know, and it's all done in English, believe it or not, in all the different countries. But one particular gentleman, he saw something in me that I thought, you know, was really cool. And he asked me to come over to his house one Saturday, and he said, "Come over. We'll just, you know, spend a couple hours in the garage. You can just see what you got." Well, 6-8 hours later, my legs were beat, and I was hoarse as it could be. And, you know, but it was well worth it. Because he's the one that really gave me the kick to keep on going.
I met Don at a dance one night, and somebody else told me that he was interested in calling and, you know, gone to some lessons and things, and we kind of hit it off, became friends, and I saw he was serious, so I invited him over that one day and worked with him quite a bit since. I've run some clinics and seminars, and he's come to those. He's a good guy. Valentine's Day tonight. This is a nice group here. They come out for Don all the time. He's working hard and keeping it going and entertaining people, and that's what it's all about. The smiles that you can see on people's faces and the fact that you can entertain them and take them away from their workday stuff for a while, for a little bit. That's what it's all for.
Oh, geez, it was something I wanted to do back when I was a kid. Yeah, I square danced with my parents back when I was like 9, 10, 11, all the way up till, you know, 15, 16, when the girls started to look good and cars looked better, you know, one of those things. And then I quit. Then I got, well, you know, do other things, you know, other teenage things, but I really didn't keep it going. I should have.
I started a lot like Don did. I got into dancing to have something to do family-wise, and really was thrilled and just enchanted with the guy that taught us to dance.
She was taking lessons, and I met her at a square dance. Yeah, and I proposed to her at one of the dances. And believe it or not, she said yes. Well, she does line dance. She's a student, actually, taking line dance from one of these other instructors here inside the building at Delaware County Senior Citizens Building. And I like it all. And we square danced all of it, not just country music, but rock and roll, you know, beats from 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah.
Just the entertainment factor that I can have for people and to give them some time away from their work and some enjoyment and to watch their smiles and see them laugh and give them something they can do and go home feeling good. It's just a nice place to come and dance. People should come out and give Don a try and have a good time.
It's an old tradition and we want to keep it going. We really do. I think that if we could get more people thinking outside the box and coming into square dancing rather than sitting at home playing their games, you know, 24/7. Get out and get some exercise.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I don't think I've been square dancing since elementary school. Are you down to go next time they meet?
I've actually never square danced before, but I would definitely try it. It looks like a lot of fun. And for more information, for a chance to join the Royal Squares, they meet on the second Wednesday of every month at Forest Park Elementary School.
After the break, we experience pottery on a social and personal level. We'll be right back.